Hello, it's Gem Games here once again, and in this video we are going to continue with the intersection system. So we are going to create some cars that will spawn to the right and drive to the left, and from to the left and to the right. And you will have to avoid them. So yeah, let's get started. First, we want to go to the obstacles folder, and we want to duplicate, for example, the barrier. And let's call this moving car horizontal, something like that. Let's open it. Let's move it next to the third-person map when we get it open, like this. And let's go to the viewport. Let's delete the... actually, we don't want to delete anything. We have this barrier here. Let's rename this to be car. And now let's change this static mesh to the car. Let's scroll to the car 1, this one. And now, what we want to do here and what we want to change is we want to first make sure that our scale lock is unlocked. Then we want to change the X scale to... Actually, let's change all these to 1.25. So let's make it locked. And 1.25. Like that. Now let's rotate it 180 degrees. So 90 degrees from the default. Okay, now it should be facing the right way. Now let's get our dead collision. Let's move it here in front of the car. Because I noticed that if we don't have this here, and we use the hit to call the dead event, it will work on all the parts except the front. I don't know why. But this will make it work. So let's make this a little bit wider. A little bit smaller like that. Something like that. I don't know. It's pretty good, I think. Okay. Now let's compile and save. So let's go to the event graph. And here we already have this dead collision and it will work like that. Now what we want to do, we want to click on our car and we want to scroll down. And here on the collision presets, actually we don't have to change anything here either. Yeah, it can be like that. And now let's scroll down and here where we have the on component hit, let's click on that. Let's move it under this one. Let's copy both of these, paste them here. Let's connect from there and the object to the other actor. So now when we hit the car with our third person character, we will also die, like here. Same thing on the dead collision. Okay. Now here on the event tick, let's delete everything else, the begin play and all these. Let's move the event tick a little bit further up. Now what we want to do here, we want to add a branch. And we want to create a new variable called move, and it should be type boolean. Let's make it instance editable and expose on spawn. Let's move it here. Let's check if we want to move. Okay. And if we do, we want to get all our default scene root. We want to set world location from the true. Let's move it a little bit further here. Now let's get from this also, and let's get world location. Now we want to split this, and oh no, not like that. Sorry, I promoted it to variable accidentally. So we want to split it, and also we want to split the new location. Now we want to get the X and connect to the X, and set to the Z, and to the Y we want to add. Connect that to the Y. Okay. And what we want to add there is we want to first get world delta seconds, and we want to multiply this by, let's multiply it by 60. Okay. now let's move this all even further up. So why we are multiplying this by 60 is if our basic FPS is 60, and this will take 1/60 of the 1 second. This will basically just make it to be like 1, the full number every tick. Now here we want to multiply this by our new variable that we will create. So let's promote this to a variable and let's call this speed. Let's make it instance variable and expose on spawn. Okay. This will just make sure that the speed that we set will be the same on every frame rate. So if you have 30 frames per second, it will be the same as on the 60. Okay, like that. Let's compile. Let's save all. Now what we want to do, we don't have any collision, or we do have collision, but it's not like good collision. So we have to fix the collision on the mesh. So let's click on this, browse to car 1.1. Here we have this car 1.1. Let's open it. And here what we want to do, we want to first go to the collision. We want to remove collision. Okay. Now when that's like grayed out, you know that you don't have any collision anymore. Now we want to get the box collision, and we want to click on this green line, and we want to make it fit the car better. So maybe like this. Yeah, something like that. Now you want to keep the Alt pressed and move, so it will duplicate it. Let's move one to maybe here. Let's make it smaller, something. Okay, now let's move it to be around here, I think. Okay, now let's keep the Alt pressed again and move it. Press E on our keyboard to rotate it. Let's rotate it to be like that, I think. Something like that. It doesn't matter. Now let's click on this. Or it does matter if you want to make it perfect, but for me it doesn't matter. I want to make it pretty good, but it doesn't have to be perfect. So like that. And one more from this for the spoiler. So let's scale it down. Be something like that. I think the collision is looking pretty good. So this is good enough for me. So let's save. Let's close. And now what we want to do, we want to go to the PP base tile intersection. So let's go to the third person map. Let's go to the blueprints and to the PP base tile intersection. Let's open it. Let's go to the viewport. Here on the viewport, we will have to add few things. So the first one will be the car spawning location. So let's for example get this, whatever of these arrows, it doesn't matter. Let's duplicate it and let's call it car spawn L1. And now let's move this to the on the X 1125 and on the Y minus 2000. Okay, and rotation will be 0 on the X, 0 on the Y, and 90 on the Z. So it will be like this. Now let's duplicate it. It will be called car spawn L2, but we want to actually rename it to be car spawn R1. Okay, and to this location, let's set it to X 1400 and on the Y positive 2000. So it will be here on the middle of the middle lane. Now let's rotate it minus 90 degrees on the set. Now let's duplicate it once more. It will be called car spawn R2. And for this, what we want to set this value is, sorry, I'm looking my other screen. So where did it go? Oh, here. So the X value, we will have to change it to 1675. And it can be there. Okay, now we have to create some collisions that the cars will despawn after they hit them. So let's get one of these collisions here, spawn collision, and let's duplicate it. And let's call it car destroy collision. Oh. L. Okay, and now for this, let's just move it somewhere around here, maybe to the middle. Let's rotate it 90 degrees. So it should be at like minus 90 or positive 90, it doesn't matter. And also, let's move it to be at, I think, like 2300 on the, sorry, minus 2300 on the Y, and 1400 on the Z. Now let's scale it to be a little bit smaller, like this, a little bit wider, and let's move it down. Maybe to here, it doesn't matter where it is exactly. Now let's duplicate it, and let's call it car destroy collision R. Now we want to change this minus 2300 Y location to positive 2300. So it will be there. And when you go closer, you can see it's there where it is supposed to be. Like that. And now we want to create a collision here that will call the cars to spawn, basically. So for this one, let's click on this spawn collision again. Let's duplicate it. And let's call this car spawn collision. And we want to move it to minus 2500 on the X and nothing else. Like that. So I think we have everything done here. So let's compile and let's save all. Now let's go to the event graph. I actually will close this spawn environment. And here, what we want to do, we want to first car spawn collision. We want to scroll down and we want to on component begin overlap. Now let's actually move this maybe to here. First, we want to check if the other actor is our third person character. So cast to third person character like that. Then we don't want to do anything here yet. Let's right click on here and create a custom event. Let's call this custom event spawn car. Now we want to just call that because we want to call this from other place also. So this is the best way to do it. So spawn car. So we will jump to there. And now from here, what we want to do when we are spawning the car, we want to actually create a new function called spawn random graphic horizontal. Now let's go back to the event graph. We want to call this function from there. We will create this function soon, but first let's just call it. Now let's add a delay. And for this duration, we want to get a random float in range. And let's make it minimum value 2 seconds and max 4. You can obviously use whatever you want, but for testing, you can use this and adjust it later on. And after that, we want to just call this spawn car custom event again. So spawn car. So this will basically just, when you call it first time from here, it will do this. It will wait random amount and it will start from the start again. Okay, now let's create this spawn random traffic horizontal. And here what we want to do first, we want to right click and get a random float in range. This will be the random speed for the car. So let's make it like between 10 and 15, like that. Let's promote it to a variable. Let's call this car speed. After that, what we want to do, we want to also right click and get a random integer in range, and we want to get between 0 and 2. So we have in total of 3 values. Now we want to switch on this. So switch on int. Let's get from here. So we are randomly switching between these 3 integers, which will be our lanes. So let's add 3 pins from 0 to 2, 0, 1, 2. So let's get from the 0 and let's spawn actor from class. Now we want to select the moving car horizontal and we want to search for a car, and we can get our car spawn L1 and get world transform like this. Let's connect this to the spawn transform. Let's move this a little bit further. Let's make the move true and let's get our car speed to the speed. And let's actually get this even closer. Okay, let's align them. Now let's copy all this. Let's paste it 2 times under here. Now let's get the 1 to here and 2 also to here. Let's add some reroutes to make it look nice. Like this. And now what we have to change here is on the second one, we have to change this car spawn L1 to the R1. And like this. And on the last one, we want to change it to R2. And then there is one more thing that we want to do. We want to move this car speed. Let's select both of these. Let's move this further. Let's multiply. And we will have to multiply it by -1 because we will change the speed to be negative numbers because how we created this moving function here. So let's copy this, paste it here, let's connect it to here and connect to there. So the last 2 have the speeds turned to negative numbers. So let's compile. Let's save all. Let's go to the level. Actually, one more thing, sorry, I forgot. Let's go back to the PP base tile horizontal, base tile intersection, sorry. We will have to do a few more things. So let's go to the event graph and here under everything. Let's go here and let's search for a car destroy collision L. Let's scroll down on begin overlap. Let's move it to here. Car destroy R on begin overlap. Let's move it here. Now to this, from the other actor, we want to cast to car, moving car horizontal. And from here, we want to just get from this car actor and we want to destroy actor. Now we can copy this, paste it under here. Like that, and now the car will destroy itself when it hits the destroy collision. So let's save all, let's play. Let's see what happens, it should work. Okay, as you can already see, the cars are spawning and moving. And they are going on random lane, at least I think so. Yes, they are. And my phone is ringing. But yeah, let's actually try that we can also die. So let's hit a car. Okay, like that. Okay, yeah, as you can see, everything works like it's supposed to work. So yeah, I think that was all for this video. If you like what you saw, please click the like button and subscribe for more. And yeah, hope you have a great day and see you in the next one. Bye.